the high pass filter. What we're going to actually do is take this image that's currently on my screen from Lightroom over to Photoshop. I'm going to hit Command E, and this picture will load up in my Photoshop from Lightroom. Voila. So what I would typically do is go in and remove the bumps on his face, and remove each bump one by one using frequency separation. But what I'm going to do today is actually go in using the spot healing tool and remove some of the bumps, and use the high pass filter as a quick retouching method. So let's get started. Starting out, of course, I'm going to zoom in and actually select my spot healing brush and begin to remove the bumps. So now that I've cleared some of the bumps and blemishes from his face, what I'm going to actually do is start to build on my high pass filter. Also in this video, I wanted to go over how to build an action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the action tab over here. And I'm actually going to come down to my this folder right here, and then come down to create new action. And I'm actually going to call this high pass filter exercise, and select record. Right now, every button click, every selection of a brush, the opacities as well as the radiuses that I select are going to be stored in my actions. So let's get started. I'll actually select my background layer and hit Command J. It now has given me a duplicate of the background layer and entitled it Layer 1. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually invert Layer 1 by hitting Command I on the Mac. This is what you call the invert. So what I want to do is I want to change the mode from normal to vivid light. So I'm coming right here to my blending mode and selecting vivid light. Now that I have vivid light selected on my layer 1, what I'm going to do is actually run a high pass filter right on top of that. So come right here, up to filter, and I'm going to go down to other and select high pass. I'm going to keep the radius at about a 24 for this part and hit OK. The next step is to apply a Gaussian blur, which is right in the same menu of filter. Come down to blur and select Gaussian blur. You're going to set your radius at about between 4 and 4.7. I'm going to put mine at around 4.2 and select OK. From there, your high pass filter is already on and set. Now all you need to apply is a mask. The way you apply a mask is go down right here and add a layer mask. But currently the layer mask is white, and you still see the high pass filter that is applied on the main layer. So what I actually want to do is actually delete the layer mask and create a new layer mask and create one that has a black base. So the way you do that is hold Option, add layer mask, and now it looks just like the background layer that we duplicated earlier. So what we're going to do is we're going to begin to apply the high pass filter by selecting our brush and ensuring that the color that we're using with our brush is white in the foreground. Also ensure that your brush is at a 0% hardness. And usually control the size of your brush with your brackets once you get to the skin. Your mode is going to be normal. Your opacity is going to be at 100%. Your flow is going to be at 100%. Your smoothing is going to be at around 10%. What I tend to do is create a brush that is not too large, but about a third of the size of the forehead. And what I do is, while the brush is white, I go in and I apply the high pass filter. And there you have it. It's smoothing the skin. Of course, you can use your brackets on your keyboard to make the brush larger or smaller. And basically what I'm doing is basically evening the skin and evening the texture. And what I like to do is pull the image back a little bit to see how realistic it looks. If you notice right here, it looks a little too blurry to me. So what I would do is come right in to your opacity slider, ensuring that your layer mask is selected, and actually take and pull your opacity down just a little smidget to ensure that it still looks realistic. Now it's starting to look a little bit more realistic to me. See just a little bit more. And that is how you apply your high pass filter. And of course, you can go in and also apply your sharpening as well as your dodge and your burn to also add the crispness of the photo. So that is the tutorial on how to use and build your high pass filter. Also, let's make sure we stop this action. And now you have your very own action to use as a high pass filter. So in the future, when you have another action, for instance, let me go ahead and flatten this. All right, and it's flattened. So, but for now on, if I go to another picture in Lightroom, so that when it loads in Photoshop, you're able to come select your high pass filter exercise, press the play button, and simply apply your high pass filter. Or if you use button mode, which is one of my favorites, right here, all you have to do is click high pass, wait for it to be applied, and use your high pass filter. That is how you apply the high pass filter as well as build your high pass filter action. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave it in the comments below or email info@peculiarcollective.org. Thank you.